Mm. Hello, divine human. Yes, I'm speaking to you, specifically to you, divine human, because that's how I choose to see you. And I know that even if multiple people watch this video, it's each individual that is watching and listening and taking in my words and my energy and my message. Welcome back to Benevolent Concepts, which is a place where humans, the divine human is empowered to imagine goodness, to imagine goodness. Mm. I really love this phrase, this term, this concept of imagining goodness. Right now, imagine goodness. And you've done everything that I could ever wish for you to do. You've used the power of your mind to imagine good. Good, this concept, this word, it's like a seed fractal. And as soon as we point the lens of our focus, the beam of our focus, however you want to envision that, towards something, and we command ourselves to imagine goodness in that something, this seed fractal immediately begins to reorganize the way that we perceive this person, place, thing, event. And if only I could help you, divine human, to recognize, to really truly recognize that it is the thoughts that you choose to entertain that are determining your perception. And it is your perception that is then determining what you see, what you experience. And it's also determining the realm of possibilities available to us in any particular endeavor. So, what's the alternative? Let's touch on that for a moment. If not imagining goodness, what are we imagining? And this is really the other side, it's the flip side of the coin of imagine goodness, but then let us recognize what we've been imagining. And it's usually different for each circumstance, each relationship, each event, each aspect of our lives. We might imagine in one particular arena of life that only this much good is available to us. It might be because we've been conditioned that way. We were conditioned to believe that way by society or by family or by religion or culture in some way. It may be that that's just what the experiences have been in this lifetime so far. And because the conditioning field on this planet is so strong, we aren't often guided to question the nature of that conditioning and how it has influenced us to see or to not see the possibilities for goodness in every aspect of our lives, every aspect of your life. So, divine human, let's just for a moment talk about good. And actually, what I want to do is just back up a second. And I want to remind you of where you're watching this video. Divine human, benevolent concepts. Benevolent, what does this word mean? I actually really love the Latin roots of this word. Bene means good, and vele means wish. So benevolence is often translated to mean kind or good. I have simplified it down to good. But what it really means is that there is a positive intention for your goodness in the concepts, the conceptual framework, that the ones that I want to share with you, divine human. But my overall intent, my overall dream and desire would be that if you allow me, if you allow me, allow me a little bit of access to your consciousness, to your mental field, to the way that you're organizing your thoughts and your perceptions about yourself and your life, I can help you to release the fractals of chaos, which is basically if we're looking at a pattern, if we're looking into an arena of our lives and the way that we've organized our perceptual framework, our concepts, our ideas around this area, and there's a little bit of good here, and then there's not so good over here, and then this is allowed and that's not allowed. There is a sort of chaotic framework that is holding this part of our life into certain patterns, certain experiences, certain emotions. And as I said a few minutes ago, because of the strength of the conditioning field on our planet, we're just not really guided or encouraged to question, is this framework, is the way that I'm holding my thoughts that are held over time become beliefs, is the way that I'm holding my beliefs in this area of my life actually allowing for the emergence, the revelation, the expression of goodness, of allowing me to perceive that there is a wish for my good that is somehow embedded into this life experience. And most of us do not think that way. If we look at our news and our media and the conversations that are going on globally, we don't generally and collectively imagine ourselves to be embedded within a creation, right? A cosmos, a solar system, planet that wishes good for us. In fact, we are largely steeped in conversations that want to convince us that the universe is indifferent towards us at best, right? And I'm talking about the conversations that are happening outside of religion because, again, unfortunately, our modern global hegemonic culture sort of leans in the direction of, either you're confined within a particular religion, which is separate from the other religions, and you believe that perhaps there's a God. But even within those religions, whether that God actually loves you and cares for you is very conditional, and the conditions vary from religion to religion. Are you following me here, divine human? So there's a bunch of chaos, even in our thinking around some sort of creator being, some sort of God, some sort of source energy. And then our secular conversations are very much that humanity is a virus upon the planet, that, we are somehow separate from nature, and that all of the creation that we see around us that's beautiful and amazing, that we are not a part of it, and that it doesn't, couldn't, wouldn't, that there's no way that it could care for us, let alone actually be desiring, wishing good for us. And I always find this to be so intrinsically absurd. If you just think about it, if you just think about the fact that everything on this planet, all life on this planet is generated from the energy of the sun, right? Photosynthesis that then allowed for this exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen in the atmosphere, that then allowed for there at some point to be more multicellular animal life that could come and breathe the oxygen. You know, I'm not a scientist. I know I'm going to get things wrong. I'm really just presenting a very broad perceptual framework for just understanding and seeing that every aspect of what we are is supported by this environment, from the sunlight creating photosynthesis to the plants that exhale what we need to inhale and inhale what we exhale, to the water that falls from the sky under the best of conditions, right? From the food that grows from the earth, and that, for those of us that do consume animal products, it literally walks and flies around the planet. Can we just take a moment and contemplate that, and really place yourself within that system for a moment and see if you can let fall away all of the things that human civilization has layered on top of that. Because our beautiful, vibrant civilization, excuse me, it's given us these proxies for sustenance, right? So instead of waking up in the morning and perceiving directly that we receive all the nourishment that we could possibly need right from the earth herself, right from the environment, and from the others in it, just directly without any intermediary. Now we have this money thing, and then we have this job thing that's an intermediary between us and the money, right? And then we have education that's in between us and the job. And then for a lot of people, there are perceived social barriers, whether that be, race or gender or sexual orientation or some physical or mental disability, right? So we've taken this really direct relationship where it's very plain and simple to see that this world, this globe, this earth, this planet, even the solar system and the cosmos actually wishes us well, provides us energy, provides us sunlight, provides us water and food, that we could find or create for ourselves shelter. That's like this. But it's humans that have widened the gap and that have placed all of these other conditions in between us and our ability to directly perceive that we actually exist within a system that wishes us well, within a benevolent system. And we can just, for now, we can just leave the word God out of it. And we can just contemplate this benevolent system that's providing for us. Think of your body. Right now, in this moment, your body is beating your heart and breathing your breath, even if you haven't thought about it. So amazing. And yet, here we are again in a world where human activity has placed conditions in between us and our ability to perceive that our body wishes us well. Everything from the way that we overwork ourselves and create stress and resistance that dampens the functions of our body, to the foods and the chemicals and whatever else that might be coming to mind for you right now, divine human, that we put into our bodies that is counterproductive, that doesn't actually support the natural functioning of our body. Now, what would it take for us to close that gap again? And I believe that this is where benevolent concepts and the ability to imagine goodness comes in. If we're willing to perceive ourselves as embedded within a system that actually wishes goodness for us, our good, our physical survival. We have emotions, so it wants emotional well being for us. We have a mind, so it wants mental well being for us. We have desire for purpose, it wants us to have purpose. Now, for some of you, it might seem like a leap to imagine that just because we have something inside of us that's longing for something, that means that we exist within a system that wants to meet that need or that desire or that longing. And I suppose if it suits you better, you can hold on to the habit of perceiving indifference or the habit of seeing ourselves and our nature as human beings, our faculties, our gifts, our desires, our longings, our dreams, as some sort of random emergent property of matter bumping around, with itself over eons of time, and then suddenly these faculties that nature never intended or doesn't know anything about emerged from us. If that really resonates with you, if that really feels true to you, to your core, then you are welcome to maintain that belief and to maintain that perception. You are welcome to continue imagining that life and the planets and the universe are simply dead matter that have no consciousness and have no awareness of you. That is your choice. And the way that I understand it, you are that free. That even if your absolute nature, even if the divine truth of you is that everything in you has been created with purpose and with intent, and that if it exists within you, it means that there is the capacity for that need, that desire, that yearning to be met, and that there is a good version of that, a version of it that contains such goodness for you that when it contacts you, it will feel good. That's my understanding. That's what I wish to share. That's what I wish to speak and to transmit and to help clarify for you, that you can choose the default way of seeing indifference, ambivalence, or even nature and Gaia and God being upset with us or mad at us or wanting to punish us. That is your choice. You may, if you wish, entertain these conceptual frameworks. But what I am here to do, Divine Human, is to invite you and to encourage you to imagine goodness, goodness for yourself, goodness for the ones that you love, goodness for our systems and our governments, goodness for the world. That's what Benevolent Concepts is about. Divine Human, I invite you, I empower you to imagine goodness.